Yes, sir. Haha. What's the deal, folks? It's your boy iMac, and welcome to episode 4 of TLT SPORTALK, a spinoff from the original podcast, which is the Leisure Time Podcast. Hey, man, super excited about this episode. A lot to catch up and talk about, man, right? We got the playing games coming up pretty soon. Lakers versus Warriors. I know everybody excited about that. And also, man, we got to talk some football. We got to talk some Seahawks. I got the man, the myth, the legend, Durag, Dugar in the building. My boy Mike, writer from The Athletic, going to be joining the show, dropping some knowledge. As always, man, we're going to get straight to it now. It's time for that sport talk. Your boy iMac, Westmont. Shout out Double R, K. Johns. You already know the deal. Let's get it. Hey, man. Hey, guys, I've been super busy. My apologies. I haven't been dropping stuff week to week, back to back like I was, man. A boy been super busy, but I got a big announcement to make in a couple weeks on why I was busy. So y'all want to appreciate that for real, for real. We about to go straight into this LeBron James and Anthony Davis talk. You feel me? So this year has been a roller coaster season, to say the least, for these Los Angeles Lakers. I decided to put up some highlights from last season just because to feel good about these playoffs, to see LeBron playing. LeBron been out the last, I want to say he missed 25 of the last 27 games with that high ankle sprain, serious injury. Nothing to snarl at, I should say, nothing to snarl at, but I really like what we've been seeing from the squad. Guys like THT stepping up, back-to-back double-doubles, right? Game winner versus the Knicks. Comes back the next day, help lead the team. Shout out my boy Kuzma, game winner versus the Rockets. Drummond getting them double-doubles. Our others, as Shaq would say, are starting to find their momentum, guys. They're starting to find their momentum. They're starting to hit their stride. And I'm super, super happy about it, right? I'm not gonna lie. Me personally, though, I wish we were in the 6th seed, though. I want to see the Clippers in the first round. I want to. I'm not in the mood or the mindset of us playing an easy round 1, going to round 2, and losing in the Western Conference Finals. If we gonna lose, let us lose ASAP, goddamn it. For real, you feel me? But it's just this basketball season in general for the Lakers has truly been one that was kind of just riddled with just like the unknowns, right? We start the season off kind of slow. We only had 70-day rest from that championship run. And I think that we didn't take the beginning games as serious, right? And then what makes it worse, we start getting the injury bug. When AD went out, that was a huge hit for us, guys. That was a huge hit for us, right? And it put more of a load on LeBron. And once LeBron got hurt, it's now like, what's next, right? Schroeder, I don't know what it is, bro. Schroeder, you got to start wearing masks or something, bro, because this is about your 4th time being in COVID protocol, bro. For real. It's like every time you start to get your momentum, some shit happens, Schroeder. So we need you to get back on your grizzy, bro. Get back on your grizzy, bro. But overall, man, I'm super excited about these playoffs coming up, though. For real, guys. This play-in tournament, Steph versus LeBron, right? That's all that's what we want to see. We all want to see that. But I'm just in the mindset that, man, let's just be healthy. I wish that we could play the Clippers in the first round, but it's all good. We're going to bounce back. I'm liking what AD been doing. The last game kind of iffy, pulled his groin or something like that. AD, like, goddamn, AD needs some muscle milk or something, goddamn. That motherfucker always getting hurt. Or is it just me? That shit crazy, he always getting hurt. But, oh, snaps. The man, the myth, the legend in the building. We're going to cut this Lakers talk short, man, because we got my guy here. Hold on. Let's add him to the chat. Dugar, motherfucker. What's up, bro?
What's happening? You hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro. I can hear you. What's the deal, fool? How you doing,
okay,
bro?
Cool. I wasn't sure. Yeah, man. I'm doing all right, man. Chilling, about to go to rookie camp in a little bit. Do my thing.
All right, so Mike, before you even start, bro, I got something to show you, man. I figured out a new little gadget I can do while we're streaming, and I want to show you something. I want your perspective on this. I need your perspective on this. I need your perspective. Before I even hit play, what was your thoughts right before the gun was shot when he ran this 100-meter? Like, what did you think of DK running track before this even happened?
It felt like I was rooting for one of the homies at a meet. You know, I was like nervous for him, you know, because I mean, I ran track and like all like growing up until I got to high school and discovered girls and everything. But like before that, I was like Junior Olympics and stuff every other year. So I love track. It's probably my favorite sport to watch, at least the 100 is. So I'm like, yo,
dude, I ain't gonna lie. The first thing I thought was like, bro, is just like way bigger than all them boys.
Oh yeah, nah, he's just different. But like I knew in my mind, I'm not gonna lie, I knew there was a possibility he went out there and embarrassed himself. I just knew that was a possibility because I know sprinters move faster than DK Metcalf. I just a fact. We learned that, but I knew that. So I was just super nervous for him. I hope he had a good start. I hope he ran hard. And when he finally did, I was like, yo, thank you. Like, dude, I was like legit proud, like he was one of the homies.
Man, like, bro, it felt like it was a win for the whole football community in a sense. Like, look at that. That drive.
That is different.
Honestly, bro.
He had a really good start. Good start.
If they would have won just 60 meters, I think he would have got top 3. If they would have won like first 60, you feel me? I think what happened was that last 20, that was the difference between guys running track their whole lives versus a guy that run go routes to make his money. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, so that last 20, you can see his form kind of wasn't there the same. He was like pressing and stressing a little bit, like a lot more head movement and like chest. Like he was working a lot harder than he should have been. Because he's not used to running that. But even that 10.36, man, at 225 pounds or whatever he is.
Super impressive to me, bro. Just super impressive. So now, Mike, I got something else I want to show you, man. I'm telling you, this is kind of like a video pop. I'm just trying to get you, you know, because I got the Seahawks. As you know, guys, Mike is the host of the Seahawks Man-to-Man podcast. Any insights you ever need when it comes to Seahawks or just Seattle sports in general, you need to make sure that you follow that man at Mike Dugar. That's one. So this is another video I want to show you right here, Mike. And I want to get your perspective on this player. All right. So let me do this. Okay, as you can tell, I've been working on my gadgets, bro. So I'm
I like it, man. I'm not like tech savvy as I want to be, man, but some of this stuff is dope.
All right, so this guy right here.
Hey, man, he's different too.
Tell me about this guy, man, because I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I didn't watch too much of I want to say UCF, right?
He's Western Michigan, and I didn't watch them either. I'm not gonna.
Okay. So I didn't watch much of them, obviously, because, you know, we're on the West Coast. We're just watching Pac-12.
So that play right there, can I give some context to this play right here?
Please, give it, bro. Please.
So prior to this play, Dwayne has like a 60-yard touchdown. I don't know if it's in this particular highlight, but it's in this game. He has a 60-yard touchdown. And he's like on the sideline, and he's like yakking. And I think the game's on ESPN. And so his teammates are like surrounding him so the cameras don't show him yakking, like he's gassed because one of the receivers had COVID and one of them had a concussion. So D had to play the X, the Y, and the Z, all the receiver spots that week. So he had just scored like a big 60-yarder, and then they gave up a touchdown super fast. Yep. So he was gassed, but the coach was like, man, we got to go back out there, you know, offense, you know, let's get a long drive together, give our defense some rest. And D scored on the first play, and he's just exhausted. So that's why it looks like he's kind of going to get caught in that Central Michigan play, because he had just got done yakking and just hit them boys for like another 80 yards.
Bro,
like you can't see that from the highlight. I talked to his coaches and stuff about that particular game, and like it's just another example of like, yo, some of these dudes are just warriors. It goes beyond what we see on the highlights. Like he's a built different type of cat.
Question, bro. Well, not even a question. I gotta, I guess your thoughts on this. When I first saw it, bro, because I knew nothing about Dwayne, right? I knew nothing about him, but as soon as I saw him, I put on the tape, I thought Percy Harvin. I thought like the Seahawks drafted this guy to be that Percy Harvin that, you know, y'all guys been missing, man. Y'all been missing him. But ever since Percy been gone, I feel like y'all been missing that dynamic dude in the return game. Tyler Lockett, of course, obviously is dynamic, but I think he's just more dynamic as a receiver. So do you think that they kind of thought Percy when they drafted this guy?
Yeah, I see a mix of Percy's name doesn't come up a lot in the terms of the comparisons, but that was mine too. It's like a hybrid Percy and Tyler, and the return part is very important because Tyler, I believe, is one of the best returners in K-State history. And Tyler Lockett's father, Kevin Lockett, is the best returner in K-State history. And then Tyler's uncle, Aaron Lockett, I think they're all like top 3 in every all-purpose yard stat in Kansas State history. So like returning is a big part of the equation with Dwayne. It was with Tyler and it was with Percy as well. And none of these guys have this is going to sound bad. They don't have a ton of wiggle in terms of like, they're not like Stephon Diggs or like,
I know what you're saying.
Like an Edelman, like they can go horizontal, but like their thing is getting north and south really fast. And once they do, it's curtains. So I see like a hybrid Tyler, Percy. The reason I include Tyler in that comparison with Dwayne is because Dwayne is really good off the line. And if you watch Tyler's releases, like Tyler spends each day, he spends 1 day a week in practice straight on just releases. That's just his thing he works on. Like he's nasty off the line, and so is Dwayne.
Well, obviously, Mike, you know that Coach Grinch was at Washington State, and now he's the D coordinator at Oklahoma. So obviously, when I seen that they drafted Trey Brown, I'm like, okay, that's a Wazoo roots in a sense. I don't care. I claim it sometimes. Sometimes when players do good at Mississippi State or Oklahoma, I'll be like, that's Washington State roots. You feel me? But tell me about this player, Trey Brown, man. Great corner, it seems like. Rangy, makes plays. So tell me your thoughts about Trey Brown.
I mean, Grinch I hopped on the phone with Grinch the day they drafted Trey, just to talk about him. Told him, hey, man, go Cougs. What's happening? And there's a couple of things that stand out with Trey Brown. I mean, he's 5'9". But like he played, he was their boundary corner. So like, that's, you got to be the best guy. You got to be the best guy. Yeah. And, at 5'9", doing that in the Big 12, like there's some legit receivers there. I mean, he practiced every day with, not this year, last year with, CeeDee Lamb and Hollywood, where guys he would go up, Hollywood Brown of the Ravens. So guys he would go up against. So like, he's been a dog, one. And two,
return game.
He's really clutch. Like in that particular game we watched right here, this Iowa State joint, I believe he has the game-winning interception in the Big 12 championship game. In the Big 12 championship game prior to this,
right here. It might be this right here, Mike.
Yep. Here come. Bang, game over. Yep. And so this in the year before this in the Big 12 title game, he had a chase down against Baylor that saved what would have been the game-winning touchdown, and they ended up beating Baylor in overtime to win the Big 12 championship. And the year before that in the Big 12 championship, he had a sack safety against Texas. Then they ended up beating Texas to win. So that's 3 straight years. He made a clutch play in the fourth to win his team championships. And as a DB, you can't ask for much more than that. Like when the lights is bright and we need to make a play, can we count on you? And the answer with Trey was yes. Like will that develop in the league? I'm not sure. You gotta wait, but like that's a real being clutch is a trait that's hard to quantify. But is when you have tape of you being clutch, that's your resume, and that's all you need.
Bro, I got a question though, because I'm used to, obviously, as we were growing up watching this Carroll era, we're used to taller corners. We're used to the Browners. We're used to the Shermans, right? Maxwell, even, these just bigger physical guys. Trey really don't fit that mold. He is 5'9", like you said, shorter dude. Is Pete having a change of heart or something, bro? Like, is he having a change of heart? Like, is he trying to like reverse engineer the past or something? Like, because I'm used to bigger corners.
Yeah, I hope he is, because I would tell Pete this too, and I've thought about this more over the years. The way he pigeonholes himself into requiring certain measurables for cornerback positions is not smart. Like, I mean, I know Pete's the guy, he's the guru, goat, whatever. Like, that's just not smart. You wouldn't do that at any other position. You would just take guys who can ball and adjust to their skill sets. If you got a 5'2" running back, but he breaks 1 million tackles, that's the strip sack against or the sack safety right there against Texas. Yeah. But like if you got a 5'2" running back, or like Puna Ford's like 5'10" DT, McDowell, who they drafted, was a 6'6", 3 technique. Like he was like 299 pounds. Like, basically, my point is you shouldn't pigeonhole yourself at any spot. Russ is a 5'10" quarterback. Right, like if a guy can ball, you should just take him. These arbitrary measurables are not important. Here's the chase down against Baylor. Look at his 4.4 speed, man.
I stopped it right there.
That dude, no, it's all good. He's different though. But like my point is, I hope Pete's having a change of heart. I'm not for sure, but there's no reason to put arbitrary measurable limits and benchmarks and thresholds on any position group. Take a guy who can ball, and you look at the tape of Trey. He can ball. It's that simple. I don't care how long his arms are, whatever. If he's got short area quickness, speed, anticipation, and a decent vert for 5'9", because your vert does matter at that point,
Absolutely.
then take him. That's it. Just take him. Who cares how long his arms are?
So, Mike, before I get you out of here, man, I just want to get your thoughts overall with the Seahawks, man. Like, it was a roller coaster offseason, to say the least, going through the Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll kind of tug of war and losing Jaron Reed. I feel like that's not being talked enough about. I mean, because I know Big J Reed, worked out with him a couple of times. He's a dog. I know y'all signed Robert, excuse me if I butcher his last name,
Nkemdiche, yeah.
I know y'all signed Robert, but me personally, I don't think that replaces what Jay Reed did. Jay Reed was more than just the 3 technique. He was a personality, a positive personality, I felt, in the locker room. So how do they kind of revamp that D-line? You know what I'm saying, in a sense? I know they brought back the dude that was there a couple years ago. They brought him back, Woods, I want to say. But
Al Woods.
Tell me how do you feel about overall the Seahawks program defensively and offensively, and what you see going into this season?
I think their D-line is actually pretty solid. So this year, my understanding is they're kind of going to be more of like a 3-4 team. Pete Carroll is known for running like a 3-4 defense or 4-3 defense with 3-4 personnel. And I think they're actually going to be a little bit more 3-4 this year, which is that's how they can get away with losing Jay Reed. Because they replaced him basically with a bunch of nose tackles, like Kuna Ford, Al Woods is like huge, Brian Monet, undrafted guy, huge dude, and then they're gonna have basically using, I would say, like Benson Mayowa's and Carlos Dunlap's is like big ends and like stand-up pass rushers on the outside, so kind of like a 5-man front thing. And they got the horses for that. That's what I'm about to say.
They got the backers. I know they got a lot of inside backers though. Do they have like that 3-4 outside Khalil Mack, Vaughn?
So they're still going to use like a kind of a traditional Leo rusher. Those would be like Carlos. Alton Robinson.
Benson, I know Benson is back, right?
Yeah, Benson Mayowa, Darrell Taylor, their second-round pick. So they still have those guys, because that Leo spot, basically your true pass rush guy that they want. And then their other side, they're still going to have their 5 techniques. Kerry Hyder, who they brought in from the Niners, who can also play the 3. They drafted LJ Collier in the first round a couple years ago. He's a 5 who can play the 3. Rasheem Green, who they drafted in 2018 in the third round, is a 5 who can play the 3. Absolutely. So that's basically they're gonna not have any traditional 3s like Jay Reed was, and basically try to run out some 1s and some 5s with a bunch of big personnel, and then on passing downs, kind of go small and have those 5s play the 3. Now it can work, but I'm with you. I'd rather have Jay Reed in there, but I'm just trying to say this is the organization's mindset as to why they're willing to let Jay Reed go.
I mean, let's be real. The teams that they really fight in, other than the Cardinals, those are power running teams. The Niners, they got Trey Lance, they got Jimmy G, but they're going to run the ball. The same goes for the Rams, So I understand going to that 3-4 more base. That way you can get Bobby on the field, KJ on the field. You can get the bull from Texas Tech that y'all drafted last year on the field. You can even get Cody Barton on the field. You can get a whole bunch of these outside linebackers, these linebackers that I know have motors and can go. I respect that, but man. I just get kind of nervous or kind of even anxious when y'all think that y'all can just put anybody as a pass rusher and think that they're going to be a good third and long pass rusher. So or even a 3 technique that you feel that, okay, he's playing nose all this time or he's playing the 5. He can just move into that 3 technique and dominate. So obviously I love Benson a lot. I think Benson has a motor. Hopefully he can stay healthy this year. I love Robert too, but I just don't think he's Jay Reed, man. I don't know. Maybe it is because I'm kind of like, I'm just cool with Jay Reed. I really think
Robert's not Jay Reed. I like Jay Reed too. No, he's not. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Robert's not even really in the rotation.
I wouldn't be surprised if Jay Reed goes to Kansas City and have him a double-digit sack season along with Frank and Big Chris Jones over there. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's exactly what happened with Frank. I couldn't believe when y'all let go of Frank. And
the problem was they didn't think Frank was a $20 million guy, which, I mean, sure. I mean, that's their right. They can do that. But I think I mean, you're talking about a second round pass rusher who was a dog and double digit sacks. Like, if you're not going to pay him, then who are you going to pay?
That's what bro. Thank you.
Then you look at all the you look at all the moves they've had to make to replace, to get Frank. They've had to trade for Carlos. They had to go get Jamal, whose best skill is pass rushing. They drafted LJ Collier. They traded for Jadeveon Clowney. They signed Ziggy Ansah. All of these moves to try to just replace having Frank. In hindsight, it probably would have been just easier to just keep Frank and pay him instead of doing all this. But I mean, their D-line right now, I think, is really solid because all those guys I mentioned, I didn't even factor in Jamal Adams, who's probably going to get 8-9 sacks this year, if not more, in a 17-game season.
I think they need to stop that, bro. I think that's kind of the reason why he keep getting hurt, bro. Like, in a sense, like, don't get me wrong. I never want to stop a player from doing something that he's great at. Jamal's a blitzer. He's a great blitzer. But the thing is, I understand playing, like, he makes it look good, but trust and believe, some of them times that he's on them blitzes, guards are picking them up. Fullbacks are picking them up. Tackles, he's having to take these people on. And as a safety, naturally, his body is not accustomed to taking on them guards and tackles all the time. So me personally, I would love to see Jamal blitz less and cover more. Let him do more of like a deep cover three. I can't say, I don't think he could be like a middle of the field third dropper. I think that's Diggs for that, but he could easily.
Probably, I would have Jamal doing that. Yeah,
exactly. No. But he could be like a curl flat player, a deep hook player. Like, I just feel that he needs to start covering more, what I'm saying, to really help the team, because the blitzing and shit is cool, but like, what's good of getting 10 sacks if you're not going to be 100% when it's playoff time?
The thing I'll say to that is, I think Jamal suffered 2 injuries. 3 injuries, I want to say. Mm-hmm. And he broke his fingers. Yeah. He hurt his elbow and he pulled his groin. Yeah. I don't think any of those things happened while he was rushing, though. I don't think there's anything more inherently dangerous about rushing. Because also he gets a lot of free rushes too. Like when he hurt his collarbone, it was on a run play. He just got pancaked by a tight end. Gerald Everett just destroyed his shoulder. That was actually the other injury. Yeah, he needed surgery on that, I think. So I think you gotta. I think that's just a necessary risk, is the short version of it. Just because if he's gonna get hurt, he'll get hurt doing whatever. He'll get hurt making a TFL. He'll get hurt. Just trying to fit a B gap. That's just kind of whatever he's gonna do out there. He's gonna do it full 100%. And he's got a risk of getting hurt. And so Jamal, I think, what makes him special is you can use him at all 3 levels like that. You can use him as basically a weak side backer if you need to, and you can use him as, I would say, not a deep third guy, but like you can have him, trying to eliminate posts and crosses.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, kind of almost like a robber look, a little bit honey badgerish.
I wouldn't mind if they had a package where he came in for one of the linebackers and be like a box player. Like, obviously, we have one of the best covering linebackers in history in KJ Wright. But I'm just saying, like, for instance, probably have Bobby at like a middle, put KJ at like a will, and have.
Oh no, KJ's still free agent.
As like a nickel.
KJ's still unsigned.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they're gonna roll with Jordan Brooks, who I think is good too. But like Pete likes to run cover 3 because he likes the numbers advantage on that.
Bro, I still don't understand the Jordan Brooks draft pick. I really don't. I mean, but they don't even got KJ right now. They still haven't signed back KJ, huh?
Yeah, I don't think they will. I think the roster that they have right now, they like who's healthy, they like who's here, they like how much everybody costs. I don't see any reunions, unfortunately, with Sherm or with KJ unless somebody gets hurt. That would be they make that call.
All right, so this is what I like to call the super duper early prediction based on this schedule right here. Wins and losses. What do you think the Seahawks record going to look like at the end of the season?
I think I did a prediction when it dropped. I want to make sure I'm consistent. Yeah. I think I did 12-5. And I think I have them tying for first with the Rams, who also will probably go 12-5. I don't know what the tiebreaker would be, obviously. Yeah. I have to see it play out. But I think the Rams and the Seahawks are probably about the same in terms of talent. Like, I think the Rams defense is going to take a little bit of a step back because defenses just kind of always do for the most part. And they're losing their coordinator. But They could be like the Seahawks in 2014 and just have another great defense. But I think they'll take a little bit of a step back there. I think the Rams offense will be really good again, or not again. It'll be actually good for like the first time in a little bit. They'll probably have like a top 10 defense, top 10 offense. But I think the Seahawks will probably have like a top 12 defense and a top 5 offense.
This is what I'm looking at, bro. I'm not worried about none of the first 8 games because traditionally the Seahawks come out hot. I'm looking for after this bye week, bro. What do you think in this bye week? What are some of the key games after the bye week that as Seahawks fans we really need to be looking at to see the progress of the team? Like which games are like highlighted for you in that second half of the season?
I wouldn't sleep though on some of them first games on those teams who do run the ball well.
Yeah, they do.
So teams like Tennessee, Indy does too. But Carson Wentz has never beaten the Seahawks, and I don't know if
that's what I'm saying. I'm not a believer. I'm just not a believer.
But there's some really look at weeks 4 through 7 right there. There's some really solid defenses in that week. The Niners defense should be top 10. Rams, like I said, will be top 10. Pittsburgh should be top 10. New Orleans may not have a top 10 defense because they've had to unload some contracts for money reasons, but they should at least have a top 10 pass rush, which if you got that, then and they still have Marshawn Lattimore.
Ballers in the secondary too, Mike. They still got ballers in the secondary.
Yeah, they got the kid from Utah, I think, and they got Lattimore. I think they drafted a corner recently. So like that week 4 through 7 stretch in terms of just defenses they'll face is legit. Even if I don't think any of those offenses are particularly scary outside of the Rams, but after the bye week, like. They gotta be ready for some fights. At least right after it was mostly with Green Bay and Arizona. I think are gonna give them some fights.
Don't sleep on them Bears, bro. I love
I'm kind of sleep on the Bears. I just don't think the Bears are very. So this is the other thing about that week 4 through 7 stretch. I think all 4 of those teams are very well coached. Mike Tomlin, Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, Sean Payton. Like those are guys who, even in the year where they lose their quarterback or something like that, put it this way, look at all of those teams. Look at what happens when they've lost their quarterback and they still like stay 500 or stay above water. Sean Payton went undefeated with Teddy Bridgewater that year. Kyle Shanahan has won games with Nick Mullins. Sean McVay has, been competitive with the John Wofford dude, and crappy Jared Goff. And I think Pittsburgh went 8-8 with Mason Rudolph when Big Ben got hurt. So like those teams are just well coached, and well coached teams are always going to be a problem for you. I don't think the Bears are well coached. So I think even if they have talent, I don't necessarily believe in the ability to maximize that talent, just because I don't believe in Matt Nagy or Ryan Pace for the most part, the GM, but definitely don't believe in Nagy because their roster's not loaded. They got I like their draft too. I'm with you.
I like their defense, bro. You know me, I'm a defensive guy. Khalil Mack wasn't himself last year. Obviously, Roquan Smith is a beast at that middle backer. I personally like their defense. I think the reason why you feel that they're so trash or you're not giving them respect that they really deserve is because last year the defense couldn't make up for that offense deficiency like the year prior to that. You know what I'm saying? Because even the year prior to that, when Khalil Mack first got to the Bears, it was still all defense, but the defense was actually getting turnovers, getting touchdowns, making plays. The difference between that year and the last year is because the defense wasn't getting those turnovers. They weren't making those big plays. And now the offense that was shitty, just like the year prior, it looks even more shittier because the defense ain't there to bail them out. That's why I think just picking up Justin Fields, bro, a guy that, he may not throw you to some wins right off the bat, but I don't think that he's going to do anything stupid like a Trubisky. He's going to protect the ball and not do nothing stupid. Mind you, he scored one of the highest Wonderlic tests ever. I mean, shit, I know that don't mean much, but it must mean something.
I like Fields. I think honestly, I talked to some people who are much smarter than me on QB evals who felt he was the second best quarterback in the draft.
Absolutely.
I don't necessarily
like Trey.
No, and that's fine. I just think what's interesting about the top of that QB class is like we kind of, as a collective with media fans, whatever, we're just kind of like, okay, Zach Wilson's the second guy. And I'm just like, man, we're giving the Jets the benefit of the doubt here when they have not earned that as an organization for us to just accept that they're going to get this right. Maybe Zach Wilson is the dude, but I talked to a lot of people and read a lot of people and listened to a lot of people who were very confident that Justin Fields is at worst the second best quarterback
Absolutely.
in the draft.
Yeah.
So and you look at the history of draft classes. Let's just go first round quarterbacks. Yeah. We have now, as evaluators and even as NFL teams scouting, we haven't proven to just nail this, right? It's not like the order the QBs drafted is the order that their talent ends up being. Like Lamar was the 5th quarterback taken in his year. Russell Wilson was the 6th or 7th taken his year. Dak Prescott was the 5th or 6th, maybe 4th, maybe taking his year. We definitely don't, just because you get drafted ahead of a guy or whatever, that's the consensus. That doesn't mean a damn thing. So like even though Justin Fields was the 4th, like if he ends up being the best, we shouldn't be surprised. Like look how much better Lamar is than Baker, right? And there's 30 picks between them, So I think we got to remember that when looking at some of these evals and the injuries and what situation you go to definitely matters as well.
Mike. I was flabbergasted when the Jets took Zach Wilson. I know that was the talk leading up to the draft, and I'm just like, we got to stop with these shirt and short pro days that make guys roll to their left and they're rolling to their left and they're throwing 50-yard bombs outside of pads. Like, that's not football. You know what I'm saying? Like, Justin Fields, within his 3 to 4 year, I think he was 4 years at Ohio State, in his career, showed and proved that he's a better quarterback than Zach Wilson. Winning-wise, fundamental-wise, all of the above. The only thing Zach can do, he can roll to his left and throw 50 yards.
Yeah, he's got a gun. Zach's got a gun.
Oh, he has a gun, and I'm not disrespecting his gun, his arm talent. But I don't think his arm talent was so transcending that it allowed him to be the number 2 fucking pick. Like, that's just me, bro. I got to see it with Zach Wilson. I think right now he's on my bus card like every other Jets quarterback that they pick up, going way back from Mark Sanchez, always been bust. Every quarterback they usually pick. So it's like, I don't know, bro. I'm just kind of pissed that that black quarterbacks always just gotta. It's always something. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, he wasn't a weight room guy. They were saying about Justin Fields. He was a cancer. This. Like, where are all these reports coming from, my guy? When Mac Jones, the dude from Alabama, literally had a DUI in Alabama, but you can't hear shit about that in the media, though. But you hear about Justin Fields, who have no problem with no cops. He's a cancer. How do you feel? I mean, that's just your last thought right here, but how do you feel about that before I let you go, Mike, for real? Because that just pisses me off, bro.
I do think that in terms of pre-draft analysis, black players at most positions that we perceive to require a high level of intellect, because they all do, it's the NFL, but the ones we perceive to have the most, we still struggle with black people. I mean, getting the benefit of the doubt in those situations. Like, no one really questions our athleticism, right? Like, that's it. No one will ever, do that. But when you talk about middle linebacker, you talk about quarterback, you talk about center, we still struggle to get the benefit of the doubt in those particular positions. We're getting there, making progress. I mean, you see black centers and all pro centers, and you see black quarterbacks are killing it. Black middle linebackers killing it, or the quarterbacks of the defense. But I do think there's these unconscious biases with the evaluators, whether that be scouts or coaches or media members or whoever. I like remember when this is not a white person, but like Stephen A. Smith said Dwayne Haskins was more of a runner. Right? It was like, no, he's not. He's slow as hell. He's just black. That's it.
I remember he said that. Yeah.
Yeah, so when you see similar examples that Bill Polian, calling Lamar Jackson more of a running back, crazy. You just see that more. It's just we don't get that benefit of the doubt, So when it comes to the intangibles, whether it's leadership or intellect, IQ, or work ethic, there's a natural inclination to give a Mac Jones the benefit of the doubt. Like, he looks like a gym rat. He looks like a high IQ guy. That's just kind of what we're used to doing in these evals. And again, we're getting away from that a little bit. Yeah. But it's still there. Some of these scouts and GMs and coaches
hey, Mike, Tim Tebow, Tim Tebow is about to get back to the NFL. I mean, I guess, Yeah,
well, Tim Tebow's another example of.
I can see that into this shit too. You know what I'm saying? Like, what has Tim Tebow shown that he can play tight end? When has he shown it? You know what I'm saying?
Tim Tebow is an example of two things, I would say. Tim Tebow is an example of The first thing is just having homies. Like I'm pretty confident that if Tim Tebow was black, Urban Meyer would still, because Urban Meyer is just like, I'm gonna call my homies. You know, that's just kind of.
I don't think that. I don't know. I don't think that one, bro. I think that he has other players right now probably hitting him up, and he's not gonna give him a shot.
Well, I'm saying like if he had the same success with a black quarterback at Florida like he had with Tebow, and he got his first NFL shot, he'd call him up. Just because I think that like he made a call to his homie. That's like the first thing. But I do think in general, Tebow is a bit.
Cardale Jones. Oh, I'm sorry to cut you off again, but I bet Cardale Jones can't call him and ask to play tight end right now. He won a national championship with him in Ohio State.
Perhaps. I think Tim Tebow is a better quarterback, better like college player than Cardale, but
absolutely.
Yeah, Tim Tebow is legitimately one of the best college players ever. Like, I think he's a weirdo. He's no question. one of the best ever. Like he wasn't just good; he was like
all time.
Yeah. But I think the second thing Tim Tebow is a beneficiary of is again that benefit of the doubt. Because when you're white, people will think you're good at. You can be good at anything. You know, like whether it's broadcasting, baseball, playing tight end, playing quarterback, like you know, whatever. If Tebow was going to try out for the local lacrosse team, someone would like talk themselves into it. I remember there was talk. There was a talk when I think it was on First Take. I don't mean to rag just on First Take, but they're the most vocal sports media platform. When Tebow was like hot, it was one of them was up there saying that Tebow can't play quarterback, but I think he's a football player. He can play football. And it's just like, you've only seen him play quarterback. Mm-hmm. So if he's not good at that, then he's probably not good at football, right? Like you haven't seen him do anything else. You ain't seen him catch. You haven't seen him rush the passer. You haven't seen him tackle. So if he's just not good at the only thing you've seen him do, why can't you just accept that he's not good at that? We accepted it with Jamarcus Russell, right? We saw him play quarterback. We saw him come to work out of weight from drinking weed with Lil Wayne, and he sucked, right? And we accepted that he sucked. And then that was it. There wasn't a maybe. No.
And he played tight end, and he's 6'6".
Yeah, he didn't get any benefit of the doubt, right? Tim Tebow is. We probably think Tebow can act, dance, go fishing, drive NASCAR. Just he's getting benefit of the doubt because people who look like Tebow traditionally do. When the reality is he's not a good NFL quarterback. Yeah. He's not even a good analyst on TV. He wasn't a good baseball player. He's probably not going to be a good tight end. Like we just have to accept that he's not. Last thing, Chris Rock had this quote once. He was talking about his kids. He was like, we tell kids that they can be anything they put their mind to. And I was like, that's a lot. He's like, you can be anything that you're good at. Like that's far more important. Be good at the thing. I can put my mind to river dancing right now. If I'm asked at river dancing, I'm not going to be a river dancer. That's just kind of how it works. Like Tim Tebow is a classic example of like thinking you could be good at things you put your mind to. It's like, no, man, you can do anything you're good at. And Tim Tebow has proven not to be good at any of the things that he's tried, except for being a college quarterback. When he was a great college
quarterback. Mike, I know you're busy. I know you got to get to rookie camp, man. So what you looking forward to just going to Seattle rookie camp today and this weekend moving forward for these bunch of rookies undrafted and all? Shout out to Connor Weddington, Seattle, getting a shot. And, what you expect to see out of this rookie mini camp?
I'm excited for all the local guys there. I think Connor might be the only one. I got to check the list, but I'm excited to see how Trey and Dwayne Eskridge look because they have unique builds for their respective positions. Like Trey likes a 5'9" outside corner, and then Dwayne's 5'9" as a slot, but he's like 195. He's like muscular. He's almost built like Ray Rice almost.
Sometimes he's like Percy, bro. I'm trying to I know you ain't been hearing it from a lot of people. I'm telling you, bro. When I put on the film and I thought Seahawks and I thought what they've been missing is him, like a guy that you can send a fly sweep, give him a fly sweep, give him a bubble screen, and watch him work.
Yeah, I think in the past years I've covered rookie camp, the guys who end up being like studs, they looked like it at rookie camp. Like DK's rookie camp, I remember thinking like, all right, done deal. This dude is nice. Like, I didn't even think about it a ton after that. If I want to see if Dwayne and Trey, Shaquille Griffin was the same way. When I watched his rookie year, I just remember his rookie like training camp before any games. I was like, nope, he's ready. He's ready. He's 6'1", long arms, runs a 4.38. Yep. And with a 39-inch vert or something. I was like, yep,
he was different. He was different.
Yeah. So my point is the guys look different on the field. Like you don't have to wait. Chris Carson, after he broke his leg, came back 2018 camp. He looked like the best running back I had ever seen. And what do you know? He goes out for 1,100 yards that year. Like he looked way better than Rashad Penny that year. Yeah. And I could just see it in practice. Like what happens if how you practice, how you perform.
Absolutely.
A lot of the time. So if you stand out in practice and you're doing the right, stuff behind the scenes, taking care of your body, you're gonna shine on game day.
Absolutely. Man, that's so dope, Mike, man. Appreciate you having you here, man. Mike Dugar. Follow him on Twitter at Mike Dugar. Follow the Seahawks Man to Man podcast. It's my brother, man. I'm gonna holler at you, Mike. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, man. Easy.
Yep. Man, that's my guy right there, man. Hope y'all appreciate that knowledge right there. For real, man. He was not playing. Before we get going, there's one thing else I want to talk about, and that is the standings in the Eastern Conference. So before we get going, I want to make my Eastern Conference prediction. And next week, I'll make my Western Conference prediction. But I'm pretty sure y'all all going to know that it's the Lakers. So for my Eastern Conference prediction, I still got the Miami Heat coming out the East. A lot of people looking at me crazy. They thinking that I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm trying to tell y'all, Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, they're not playing. Bam Adebayo, they're not playing. I'm trying to tell you, them boys from Dade County, they just put it on the Sixers yesterday. Shout out to OGUD. After 2 minutes, got 2 buckets and just punched on Embiid. Well, he didn't punch on him, gave him the finger, got ejected. And I just feel like the Miami Heat, they got that kind of mentality and culture over there that they can overcome a team like the Nets with them superstars, them prima donnas in a sense, So, man, guys, it's a great episode, great conversation with Mike always. I'm just gonna try to be more consistent for y'all, man. I know it's been a couple weeks since I dropped. Last thing I did drop was obviously the Hawk interview. So y'all make sure y'all check that out. The Hawk interview with my featuring my boy Josh Hawkinson. And as always, man, appreciate y'all, man. Peace.